I hope they are still alive, the local tourists. Oh, it's killed them. Oh my God. It's killed them.
Dukono volcanic eruption in Indonesia's Halmahera Island. And guys, this makes me really, really sad because this was not necessary that this catastrophe happened there. But we just talked about it recently, the Darwin Award, and this time it has ended very, very badly. Jesus, guys, do not climb on these active volcanic craters. And then they're looking down there into the crater to make a selfie. For what? Don't do this because it is verified right now. An explosive eruption happened at Mount Dukono and at least 3 hikers lost their lives, 2 Singaporeans and 1 local, it seems, and others are left missing. So about 20 climbers were going up there and they defied the 2.7 mile, 4 kilometer restricted zone ban because the volcano was on high alert status and ongoing activity. So it was clear that something like this would happen. So we have a video of the moment of the blast when people were filming this nearby. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary, and it was not necessary. So let's dive into what happened today. Dukono is one of Indonesia's most dangerous active volcanoes. We've talked about this. There are several active volcanoes in Indonesia, and Indonesia has eruptions all the time. They have earthquakes all the time. They're on the Pacific Ring of Fire. And I want to say one thing. This eruption here is nothing out of the ordinary. This was expected. So there is nothing going on in the world with multiple volcanoes erupting or something like this, because some of you have asked me in the comments under my last video. Even with Sakurajima erupting today and other volcanoes in the Philippines erupting, this is normal, unfortunately, we have to say. So do not make anything out of it. There is nothing that is changing. But the horrifying event that was taking place here, Mount Dukono did not suddenly become dangerous that morning, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It was already erupting again and again. Crater zone was already restricted. People had already been warned to stay away, stay away. And I mean, it's not the first time that we have videos of hikers running for their lives after they're like looking into the crater and then, oopsie, Shezzy's hitting the fizzy and that thing is blasting stuff out. We've had it on Etna. We've had it on other volcanoes. I think we even had it on Dukono last year. So geez, guys, don't you learn from past Darwin Award winners? So 20 climbers were still on the crater, on the cone, on the volcano when Dukono exploded, sending ash about 10 kilometers, that's 6.2 miles up into the sky. And that shoots out like bullets, speed like a sports car. You cannot outrun this. So 2 Singaporean nationals and 1 Indonesian climber lost their lives. Rescue teams, of course, could not immediately recover them because the volcano kept erupting. So the real question is not just why did Dukono erupt? The real question is why? Why were people still close enough to be ended by the volcano that had already been warning everyone with activity? Mount Dukono sits on this Halmahera Island in North Maluku in Indonesia. This is remote eastern Indonesia, part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, where we have tectonic plates colliding, subducting, breaking, and this is feeding some of the most active volcanoes on Earth. So Dukono is absolutely not a quiet volcano. We've seen this a few times, right? And also, it's one of Indonesia's most persistently active volcanoes, right? This is not like, okay, let's take the risk, let's climb Mount Vesuvius in Italy or something like this, right? If you climb that one, your chances are way higher that you get something like what's happening today. So this volcano, I want to make this clear, has been erupting almost continuously since 1933, which means for generations of people. Dukono has been throwing ash, hot gas, and explosions into the air. So this is why, really, this story, the news that we just received, is so disturbing. This is not a peaceful mountain that suddenly surprised these hikers. So why were they doing it? And I wonder, was the local guy, was that a guide, or what is this? This is a volcano with a long, violent pattern. So Friday morning at about 7:41 a.m. local time, Mount Dukono erupted again. Indonesia's geological agency said the eruption produced a thick ash column rising very high up in the sky. I mean, you see it in the videos. 10 kilometers above the summit. So that's roughly 33,000 feet. And that is high enough also to reach aviation levels, right? High enough to really tower like a monstrosity over the island. And the eruption was not just a quick like puff of ash. It was recorded on seismographs for more than 16 minutes.
Dukono always dangerous.
Rumbling sounds ranging from weak to
I hope they are still alive, the local
now
tourists.
imagine being on the slopes of that volcanic crater when that happens, right? You're not watching it from a safe village. You're not seeing this plume from miles away, as we see it in some videos here as well. You are on the volcano. Congratulations, in the danger zone. The ground suddenly starts shaking and the volcano roars, the ash is rising, visibility drops, and you still see people there filming. Oh, cool. I mean, you know what I mean. It's just like, it just blows my mind, right? And then while you're up there, suddenly the mountain you climbed for adventure becomes a dangerous, devastating trap, because officials said these 20 climbers were on the volcano exactly when the eruption happened, and reports say the group included these Singaporean and Indonesian nationals. So the Indonesians should know, right? So 17 people we know were later evacuated safely, and several of them were also injured, but definitely 3 did not make it out. And this is where it gets even more tragic. They couldn't get to the 3 people immediately, right? It's not nobody wanted to reach them, but that volcano is still too dangerous. We have continued eruptions, unstable terrain, poor conditions, right? That has stopped rescue teams from safely getting to that location. So search efforts were definitely paused overnight because the risk to the rescuers was also too high, right? If some more is erupting. So that tells you how dangerous this volcano still was after that devastating blast. And even after that eruption was ending these people, the mountain was not safe enough for the rescuers to move in. So now one of the biggest question is, were the hikers inside the restricted zone? Authorities had already banned activity within a 4-kilometer radius, that's 2.6 miles, around Dukono's Malupang Warirang Crater because of hazards like ashfall, toxic gas, if you breathe that, volcanic bombs, and sudden explosions. And officials are telling us the hikers were believed to have been inside of that restricted zone when it happened. Deadly mistake, we have to say that, because when a volcano like Dukono erupts, the crater area is just not a little risky, guys. Shizzy's hitting the fizzy big time. Big time. So it can become unsurvivable in seconds. Volcanic ash, I have to say that is not normal smoke. It's crushed rock and volcanic glass. It can burn your eyes. It can choke your lungs. It can turn daylight into darkness. It can make breathing difficult, but orientation. And when it's thick enough, it can disorient people so bad that they cannot find their way out. All that on the volcano, on the crater, right? But ash is not the only danger. Dukono can also throw out like these volcanic bombs. So these are chunks of hot rocks blasted from the crater. We lost a hiker at the slope of Stromboli in Italy. I mean, this is not new. This keeps happening and it keeps happening, right? In times of drones and everything, just please do not go up there. Volcanic bombs, yes, some can be small, but some can be large enough to end everything that is nearby, right? And unlike like normal lava flows, which often move in a direction that you can see, the bombs can be launched suddenly, very violently, and absolutely unpredictable. And then there are the toxic gases, right? Volcanoes can release sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, and other dangerous gases. So you don't want to breathe this, right? And some of these gases, they can collect in low areas. So it can overwhelm people before they understand even what's happening. And in a crater zone, all of that danger is basically concentrated, right? So that's why these exclusion zones exist. So I don't want to ruin anybody's hike, but you know, and it's also not because of officials are being overly dramatic. It's because really some volcanic hazards do not give you a second chance. And Mount Dukono is exactly the kind of volcano where that matters. So to put this in perspective, since late March, Dukono has been averaging about 95 eruptions per day. I mean, really, guys, think about that number. 95 eruptions per day. That's not a sleeping volcano at all. This volcano is active, restless. And other news agencies even reported that nearly 200 minor eruptions had been recorded since March 2026, and that climbing had been banned after earlier activity. So it didn't come out of nowhere. The volcano does not care if you came for a photo. It does not care if the plume looks beautiful from a distance. It does not care if other people climbed it before and they survived it. That dangerous moment only has to happen once, and this Friday morning, it did. Maybe it's the problem because it erupts so often, people get used to it. Well, they shouldn't. They should stay away from it, right? And what Mount Dukono is also known for, and locals know that, they're familiar, if the volcano becomes quiet, that can actually be worrying because its activity then can shift suddenly, right? That is the terrifying psychology of active volcanoes. And people always, they wait for a dramatic sign, like a giant explosion or something like this. But by the time those signs arrive, anyone too close may already be inside the very dangerous danger zone. And then the poor rescue teams and the authorities, they have to deal with the aftermath, right? This is really, that should not have happened. So I'll keep you updated if anything else is unfolding, but do not panic. Even if there is volcanoes erupting in Japan, in Indonesia, it's normal. The world's not breaking apart and there's nothing unusual going on. This is just business as normal for these areas, we have to say. So be informed, stay away from these volcanoes, guys. And I hope you're safe and sound. And you have to watch what's going on here. This is actually really, really crazy. So you should watch that video that I have put on the end screen for you. Many tornadoes hit Mississippi, but these tornadoes were invisible. They were actually hiding within the storm system that was creating them. So you didn't see them. They were wrapped in rain, but they were seen on radar because they were pushing debris up to 27,000 feet up in the air. They flipped mobile homes. Crazy footage. Check it out here. I'll see you. Bye-bye.